Howdy. A little while ago I got in 5 fragrances that are, for the most part, not well known at all, but I have seen some hype around most of them, so I wanted to pick them up, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, the first one is Saharan Wind from Mancera, and this is a strong one. This is not your typical Mancera, not your typical, I would say it's a date night fragrance, not your typical date night fragrance. So the notes are spices, leather, bergamot, pink pepper in the top. Mid notes, cypress, lavender, lily of the valley. Base notes are woody notes, tobacco, amber, vanilla, patchouli, and white musk. So the things you pick up the most are the spices, the leather, the lavender, and the tobacco and woody notes. So those are like the main notes that I'm getting. Everything else is kind of supporting. The leather and the lavender kind of mixed together kind of remind me of Dior Fahrenheit a little bit. Much more modern than Dior Fahrenheit, and it doesn't have that violet. It doesn't have violet leaf, so it doesn't really have that like. It's hard to explain violet leaf. It doesn't have that like weird, I guess almost gasoline-like consistency to it. But this one, not sweet at all. It does have vanilla, I think, to even out the spices a little bit, but it's mostly spicy. It's mostly leathery, and I'm not a huge fan of leather. The leather in this is not anything challenging. It's clean. Even though it's a spicy leather fragrance, it's a clean leather. Younger guys I don't think will like this, although a younger guy did recommend this to me. I went to a potluck, and he mentioned this fragrance, and it was the first time I ever heard of it, so he liked it so much, and I just wanted to pick it up, and good price. So Saharan Wind, it's a good fragrance. Next up is a Tumi fragrance. I wanted to get Tumi 19 Degrees, but it was way too expensive. I checked, I think, on ScentSplit, and I saw that they didn't have it yet, so I looked at other Tumi fragrances, and I found one that I really liked just by the note breakdown. The note breakdown for this fragrance is Sicilian bergamot, Florida grapefruit, cardamom, amberwood. I love when they put in like the towns and states and countries of the notes. It makes no sense. Haitian vetiver, Java vetiver oil, sandalwood, and moss. I wonder why they put oil in there. Bergamot, grapefruit, ginger, labdanum, vetiver. That's like right up my alley. This is not your typical, let me show you the fragrance. It's Tumi Atlas. It's not your typical vetiver fragrance. The vetiver is slightly green, mostly woody, and I don't think there's a whole lot in here, although you can smell it throughout the duration of the fragrance, but it just smells mostly fresh. The cypress comes out, kind of makes it smell a tiny bit like Santal 33, but that's covered up by the citruses and the vetiver, I'd say mostly. The cypress does give it a nice touch. I like green notes with my vetiver. I think that's a great mix. Really like this fragrance. I love the cap. Pretty cool. I thought they were actually built in. You just twist it to like press and spray it, and then you twist it back. Very happy that's not the case. Guess I should tell you the next fragrance name before I start talking about it. It's Bentley Momentum Intense. That's the next fragrance. And I saw a little bit of hype around this fragrance, and I wanted to pick it up. I'm not sure why I wanted to pick it up. Nothing in this note breakdown really jumps out to me as like a fragrance that I'd like. But after smelling it, it's a really good fragrance. It's Bentley. It's got the Bentley quality and the Bentley price, which is really nice. And you know, it lasts a pretty long time. It's kind of strange. I think the fragrance it would remind me of most is probably Dior Fahrenheit. I mentioned that already, but the lavender in here, there's not much else that kind of tie back to Dior Fahrenheit, but this has like, it feels like it has that kind of like violet leaf mid to it, and that consistency that kind of like ties it into Dior Fahrenheit or Brioni Intense. Is it Brioni Intense? Brioni Eau de Parfum, just the regular Eau de Parfum. Kind of has that like violet leaf consistency that kind of makes it smell like Dior Fahrenheit. Brioni Eau de Parfum is more modern than Fahrenheit, and so is Bentley Momentum. The notes are lavender, elemi, bergamot in the top. Middle notes are ambergris, tonka bean, geranium, and the base notes are amberwood, sandalwood, and musk. I really only smell lavender. Definitely smell the elemi now that I'm looking at it. The elemi is actually pretty strong in here, more so than the lavender. And then there's just, you know, your typical amber materials in this fragrance. But the musk in here is really nice. The base is really nice. The longer you wear this fragrance, the better it smells. It's really nice. I am very surprised by this fragrance. Up next is kind of a hyped clone. It is Honor and Glory from Latifa. And I don't know if this is an actual clone. People are saying it smells like another Latifa fragrance, and then a Bond Number 9 fragrance that I don't know of. Eternity Now. Never heard of that fragrance before. And then another Latifa fragrance. Interesting. I think that's LeBeau. I think I've heard that before. People saying that it smells like LeBeau, but I've heard reviewers saying that it doesn't smell like LeBeau. So I'm not sure. I've never really smelled LeBeau, except for maybe at like a Macy's or something, but by now I've forgotten. This fragrance has very sour pineapple in the top, and then a lot of gourmand notes like vanilla, and I think like creme brulee is one of those. So let's look at the breakdown. We got pineapple, creme brulee in the top, middle notes, cinnamon, turmeric, benzoin, black pepper, which is kind of strange to be with like fresh and then sweet gourmand notes. Base notes, vanilla, sandalwood, cashmere, moss. So interesting to break down. A lot of hype around this. I think it's worth the hype. It's really good. The pineapple, like I said, is a little sour, which is kind of weird to go with a very sweet gourmand base. It's a good fragrance. I really like the base in this fragrance. It's long lasting, it's resinous, it's deep. It does kind of overpower most of the fragrance, which is, I guess, a good thing because that makes the fragrance deeper, it makes it last longer, it's great for winter. I think this fragrance is pretty unique, although the base is very similar to a lot of other clone fragrances in particular, like the Victory Elixir clones, some Carolina Herrera clones that I've smelled. But this does it in a different way. It's sweet, it's gourmand like those. It has that sour pineapple on the top, which kind of makes it a little different. But this one's nice. I don't remember how much I bought it for. Let's see what the prices are. $40. I would definitely get it for less than $40, like $35 some of these are. Over $40, it's fine, but is it really worth it? That's up for you to decide, I guess. Up last, and probably least, is Azaroporum Elixir. Now, I actually like this fragrance. I have been collecting as many Azaroporums as I can, which is kind of weird because I don't really wear Azaroporum that often. I think it's a unique, interesting fragrance. It's got lavender, coumarin, labdanum. I think that kind of like mixes together and makes it like that, as well as like the barbershop accords in here make it smell kind of like a tire shop to me, which is kind of interesting. I don't think it smells fantastic. None of these Azaroporums I think smell fantastic except for Low. I really do like that one. This one smells very similar to the original, but with a spicier take. So in the top, there's no top. There's just a note breakdown. So let me see if I can pick out top notes. So I'd say the top is pear, blackcurrant, mandarin orange, bergamot, and Amalfi lemon. And then in the mid would be geranium, lavender, and then in the base would be vanilla, tonka bean, oak moss, coumarin, benzoin, labdanum, and that's it. So I'm pretty sure I hit everything. Vanilla, pear, tonka bean, blackcurrant, oak moss, geranium, lavender, benzoin, coumarin, labdanum, bergamot, mandarin orange, and Amalfi lemon. So kind of interesting that it has coumarin and tonka bean in the note breakdown when those are the same thing. It has the same picture, although the coumarin picture is a bit smaller for some reason. Yeah, weird note breakdown. I don't smell any of that. I just smell rubber. Maybe the labdanum and the coumarin are kind of, I guess, tonka bean are mixing together. Maybe the geranium and lavender are mixing together, oak moss, to make that fougere. And then the labdanum and coumarin, for some reason, make that like tire rubber kind of smell for me. It's nice. The thing that also confuses me about this fragrance is it's an elixir. That's what it's marketed as, an elixir. And if you look at the bottle, it says Eau de Toilette Elixir in the bottle, which is like not good news. And then on the box it says elixir, and then it says Eau de Toilette spray. So I'm assuming it's just an Eau de Toilette. There is no ABV anywhere. Usually I like to see the ABV on the bottle because you can put whatever you want on the bottle or the box. You can call it an eau de parfum, but it's actually like 15%, which in my opinion, like 15% concentrate and then the rest alcohol. That's not an eau de parfum in my book. An eau de parfum is 20%. Don't like how there's no ABV. I'm assuming it's just 10%, which is the usual eau de toilette. But it smells nice. It smells very similar to the original, although a little spicier. So if you like spicy fragrances, if you like the original Azzaro, if you like collecting the Azaroporum, fragrances, then you might want to think about this one. It's not bad. For everyone else, I would say no, don't get this. It's got that, 80s or maybe even 70s. I don't know when the original was made, but it's old school. This is old school, although 2009 is not too old school, I'd say. It's a little bit more modern than the original, and it's nice. I like to wear these to bed for some reason. When I'm sleeping, I don't like to have like a cloying fragrance because it might wake me up. But these Aureus, they're all pretty much, well, that's even this one, even though it says elixir on the bottle. In public, I've never wore any Azar Porum other than Low, because that fragrance to me is just actually really good. But yeah, I'm happy with this. I don't think it was too expensive, maybe like less than 30, maybe less than 40, I'm not sure. Don't recommend this. This is just kind of my thing, is just collecting the Porum fragrances. So yeah, hopefully you've never heard of some of these fragrances and they might pique your interest. I'd say probably for most people, don't buy the clone, don't buy Azar Porum Elixir. The other three, if the note breakdown kind of suits your interest and the price is not too high for you, give them a try. I don't think you can smell those fragrances anywhere, unfortunately, so it would have to be a blind buy, in which case I would say don't do that, because you're wasting your money if you don't like it. I guess that's the price we pay for fragrance collecting. So that's it. Thanks for watching.